Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen A. Smith is making a change. Gonna make a change for once in my life. And I'm happy. I'm happy, guys. But we got to talk about this.
You might be surprised with what I have to say about this. This is the kind of stuff that just validates assertions about stuff being politicized. Maybe not specifically with Trump, but the suspicion definitely is there. What is the purpose of this?
Hold on one second. We about to get to the bottom of this, ladies and gentlemen. This don't make no sense whatsoever. Welcome to the Dark Waters channel, where we explore mysteries, figure out the truth, dive into politics, and anything else you want to know about. That's what we doing over here, baby. Let's go. Difference, but he's not the only one that's making this shift. Remember, we talked about Stephen A. Smith. Hold on, let me find Stephen A. Smith. I want y'all to see this. Now, this shift is directly associated with what I talked about, which is when you have a boogeyman that's bigger than the Democratic boogeyman, everybody shifts. Now, Stephen A. Smith is a man who will admit that he didn't vote for Donald Trump. He'll admit that he voted for Kamala Harris. He voted Democrat. And Stephen A. Smith is swinging, and it's smart, and he's doing it in a very transparent way. And no one can accuse Stephen A. Smith of like being fake, because he's swinging, but he's swinging very publicly, but it's very strategic, but yet it's transparent what he's doing. And you're going to see more and more people do this. If they don't do this in politics, if they don't do this and they've been vocal about it, for example, if you're in a sports arena and you've been vocal about politics over the past 8 years and you don't make this swing, you're going to dry up and die on the vine. I'm sorry, it's done. It's a wrap. You noticed it in the NFL when people were doing a Trump dance, because everybody's afraid of what people will say. So you have people like Alex Jones who are spearheads, regardless of what anybody says. They go through and they're the tip of the spear. They take all the punishment. They take all the destruction. And in this case, this spear was slamming up against, solid steel.
You might be surprised.
You know what I'm saying? And it was getting bent and crumpled and broken and all the rest of this. But it opened the gap for everybody to charge and come in. And so now that it's easy to walk in the door, everybody's going to walk in the door. So to Stephen A. Smith, some people will say Stephen is becoming more conservative. I'll say that Stephen A. Smith is protecting his legacy and making sure that his business model will move forward. But it don't matter. And this is what people don't understand. It does not matter. I don't care. I only care about the outcome. Is he late to the party? Yes. Could you say that he's disingenuous? Absolutely. Could you say that Mark Zuckerberg's shift is disingenuous and it was forced? Absolutely. But that's how it goes. Sometimes there needs to be a forced shift. In fact, most change is forced. Change just doesn't naturally happen. So when we see men like Stephen A. Smith making a change, moving in the right direction, let him move, dog. Keep an eye on him. Be like, yo, Wody, son. You know what I'm saying? Wody, listen. I don't really trust you, but I'm going to let you bust your move. I got to let you bust your move. Because if you're going to sit here and say that you believe in free speech and you don't believe in censorship, then when people start moving, let them move. Now, you could check them. You know, you could chin check them real quick. Hey, calm down. A little check, but let them move, dog. Let them move. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what Stephen A. Smith got to say.
Well, what I have to say about this. This is the kind of stuff that just validates assertions about stuff being politicized. Maybe not specifically with Trump, but the suspicion definitely is there. What is the purpose of this?
I'll tell you what the purpose of it is. Because they don't have anything else, Stephen A. Smith. So they're going to lynch Donald Trump in the headlines. That's their plan. But, ladies and gentlemen, watch this. Just to answer Stephen's question. Stephen, you were an actor. You are a phenomenal sports talking media pundit. I mean, electric, dynamic, phenomenal at it. But as far as the brain comes to politics, you're a little slow. This is to lynch Donald Trump in the headlines. The problem that the deep state has, and really not even the deep state, the media has, is Donald has come out on a full blitz. So you got the sentencing date on the 10th. Today's the 8th. Why do you think that Donald Trump came out yesterday talking about Greenland and the Panama Canal and renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America? Because he was sitting at home, or he was sitting around, and somebody said, well, Mr. President, we can't allow them to have this media narrative unopposed. And he said, oh, I know what I can do. I can go talk about what I plan on doing. And so he went and shook the whole entire world yesterday. And if I'm correct, which I believe I am, he will shake the entire world again for the next 4 days. Shake him. You're not going to just be allowed to say what you want to say. You're not just going to be allowed for your narrative to set in place and take place. When he don't like the narrative, he's going to shake it. So that's what's going on. It's media warfare, Stephen A. Smith. But you've been on the other side of the fence. This is what I mean by chin checking. You've been on the other side of the fence waging war, but you're acting like you don't understand what the war is, Stephen. You've been over there waging war with him. You've been over there taking the 3 a.m. talking points. But I appreciate you, dog. No, now I personally, regardless of what any other pundit says, I appreciate you, dog.
Is he going to jail? Is he going to jail? You gonna get a fine? We got to sit up there and go through all the pomp and circumstance when you know you're not going to do anything. He was certified today as the next president of the United States of America. Come January 21st, he will be sworn in as the 47th president of the United States of America. But you want to sentence him. You're Juan Merchan. Who is he? The state Supreme Court justice in New York. You want to sentence him next Friday. And by the way, what is the sentencing about? Because see, we got to be real about it. We just got to be real about it. 34 felony counts. It sounds very, very damaging. It's a hush money case. Essentially, the case against Donald Trump is that he is alleged to have engaged in relations with a former porn star, and he made efforts involving finances to keep her mouth shut. That's what all of this is about. You know what some people said to me when they were talking about this? They said, could you please tell me what's the difference between this and somebody signing an NDA? I don't know the answer to these questions. I'm just telling you what people's thought process is.
Let me say this. And I'm going to circle back to the point I was making about this overall shift. See, people will say better late than never for Stephen A. Smith. And I agree. It's always good when the truth comes out. But there's certain pockets of people that will never hear truth unless people like Stephen A. Smith are acquired on the right. Think about it as real estate acquisitions. And Stephen A. Smith has an empire. And he has an audience, and then he has an empire and influence. And you don't want him neutral. You understand? He can't be neutral. The dynamics won't allow him to be neutral. But what happens when Stephen starts speaking truth from the rooftop of his empire? Everybody that watched Stephen, this is the purpose of influence, says, wait, well, I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, what is this really about? And I know, y'all gonna sit here and say, well, man, you know, he was a part of the problem. You gonna find out that a lot of people that was a part of the problem is deciding to not be a part of the problem. And this is what winning looks like. Learn how to win. Learn how to understand. that Stephen Smith, no matter what he says, Stephen A. Smith, no matter what he says, no matter how he presents it, he went and did the mathematics. He calculated the future in his mind, and he said, okay, I'm on the wrong side of the fence. I'm on the wrong side of the fence, dog. And I need to jump the fence. And understand, it ain't no small fence. It's a 25-foot tall border wall. He had to build. He's building his ladder, baby, and he's climbing up the ladder to get over the wall. Let the man over the wall. Let the man over the damn wall. And understand why you let a professional like this over the wall. Because he's a professional. Let him over the wall. Now, when he comes on the other side of the wall, we have to lay it out to him. So, Stephen, everybody's going to be talking bad about you, brother. And they're going to be trying to talk down on you. But James Williams, the one and only Stink On the ambassador, he going to keep it 100 with you. On this side of the fence, brother, just tell the truth. And be bold and be brave. And be willing to pay the consequences. Because, trust me, you going to get attacked by the same people you just left. You about to get crucified, Stephen, at some point in time. They going to crucify you. Because that's what happens to everybody. Persecution going to come towards you, Stephen A. Smith, not from the right, but from the left. And when that persecution hits you, Stephen A. Smith, when the left pulls out its swords and its shields and its spears and they start shooting flaming arrows at you, Stephen, sit back and relax. You want to know why? Because it's a rite of damn passage, Stephen. It's a rite of passage. You heard me? Stephen A. Smith?
And you might be surprised.
That's what I got to say about old Stephen. Prepare to go through the rite of passage, my friend. That's what you got to do.